We'd like to welcome you to the presentation that we're doing tonight regarding the reapportionment subcommittee's update on the project that we've been working on for several months. Today we have here myself, I'm Kate Kissinger-Wolf, the Vice President of the School Board in Tomahawk.
Shar Kirsch, School Board Member.
Dave Long, Treasurer of the School Board.
Wendell Quisbury, District Administrator.
So we have 4 representatives here. What you'll see on the screen are the committee members that were part of this project. There are 3 board members on here, 3 community members on here, and also Chris Marlowe, who is our Lincoln County clerk, who gave us much input on the whole project. What is apportionment / reapportionment? Definition: the act of distributing by allotting or apportioning distribution according to plan. The way by which we elect representatives represent our district.
Why would you like to represent the representative?
Yeah. You have a map in front of you that shows the current representation of our district. This basically is the school district of Tomahawk, that you will see the outline all in pink. There's 9 board members who have different areas in here. The school district is a common school district which covers 424 square miles, which includes townships in Lincoln and Oneida County. All registered voters in the school district may vote for the board members no matter where they live, but candidates must reside in their apportioned areas. The counties that you see on here, there's the city of Tomahawk, which is one municipality. Other counties in Lincoln County are the townships of Bradley, Tomahawk, Scanawan, King, Rock Falls, but only part of Rock Falls, which is Ward 2, Harrison, Ward 1, and Birch, which has 40 acres. Oneida County townships are Nokomis, Wilson, and Little Rice. On this slide, you see the current representation and the history. Between 1961 and 1972, various changes occurred within the Tomahawk and surrounding school districts regarding alignments. By April 4th, 1972, the current area of representations were established. 1980, all schools were consolidated to one building location, thereby eliminating all the rural schools. That was after the fire when the Washington school burned and all came to one location here on Kings Road. The graph also represents, that you see here, is the changes that happened between, it's going to be showing the changes between 1990 and 2020 as far as allocating for population growth. The 1990s are in blue, and as you notice that they have changed some along the way, and so therefore the representation has also increased, especially with King, Harrison, and the Combs area there. The map before you, you will see our current representation. When you look at this, you'll see a pie chart that shows the percentage of the population, and this is based on the 2020 population census. We use the United States Census for our data. We have 4 representatives for the city of Tomahawk, 3 for the brown area, which is Scanawan, Bradley, Tomahawk, Rock Falls, 1 representative for King and Harrison, and then 1 for Little Rice, Nokomis, and Wilson. And the pie chart shows that it's pretty much equally divided, that there's 3 different sections, but the representation is a little bit different. It's changed over the course of the last 60 years. This next page basically shows you the numbers, so you can look at these numbers and see what the percentage of population is. You'll see that the city of Tomahawk with the 4 board members represents 1/3 of the population. The Nokomis, Little Rice, Wilson with 1 representative represents 20%. The town of Tomahawk, Birch, Bradley, Rock Falls, and Scanawan has 3 representatives, and King and Harrison has 1. When you look at the numbers, you're going to see the variance among them. The next slide will show you by numbers the percentage of seats, percentage of population. And on this slide, it's going to show you the current election cycle which goes on. Each year, there are 3 board members that are up for re-election, and it's on a 3-year cycle. Why are we examining the reapportionment? The major factors. In the last 60 years, the city of Tomahawk population has decreased in the school district. When we look back in 1960, the city of Tomahawk's population represented 49% of the school district, and now it is down to 33%. But they still have 4 representatives for that area. Portioned areas for Bradley, Scanawan, Rock Falls, Birch Trails have increased by 30%, from 30% to 33.7%. And then you'll also see that the other areas with Nokomis, Little Rice, Wilson have increased from 7.5 to 21%. They've had a major increase with only 1 representative. And the townships of King and Harrison have had a slight decrease. They still only have 1 representative on this slide.
So the subcommittee goals for reapportionment after several meetings, our first goal obviously was to determine what and establish our goals. So we wanted to explore models that ensure equitable representation based on population. We also dug deep into the data. We looked at data from multiple different avenues. We looked at it from population viewpoint. We looked at it from, where the kids are located, and from a 18 and under viewpoint of the population. We looked at registered voters, and we really boiled down to the fact that the census data is the data that we needed to use to drive this committee. So please know that the committee members spent a great deal of time digging into the data. We want to assure the public of that. So we did want to ensure that there's equitable representation based on population. We wanted to explore models that ensured equitable opportunities for elections. We wanted to make sure that everybody who wanted to be involved on the school board could be. We wanted to, if possible, ensure simplicity and voting district continuity. We want to be transparent, which is why we have done so much as far as meeting with our town boards, getting it out on the radio, getting it in the newspaper, doing these public meetings. We want to be transparent so the district and our public is aware of these impending changes. We wanted to present options to the public to collect as much feedback as possible before recommending a final option to the board as a whole. We will be presenting a new representation model at our annual meeting in September of 2024 for a community vote. So please know that that you as a community member have a vote, and that will occur in September at our annual meeting. We wanted to codify the process of apportionment by adding a review process to our board policies every 10 years. That this needs to be looked at within 3 years of the census. So we want to make sure that we incorporate a policy so we don't go another 60 years without taking a look at this. And of course, we have to maintain compliance with Wisconsin state statutes. So everything that we did, we had to continue to go back and look and make sure that we were in compliance with the state statutes. As far as the data research goes, again, we determined as a whole that the census data is the most reliable data we can use. It's done by a third party, and it is done on a continual basis. And again, this just notes that some of those prior discussions, including reviewing data related to eligible voters, registered voters, and the under 18 population, And then our recommendation is to use the population data from the census.
And that's what's used for all.
And that's what's used for all, yes, that is what's used for all of your election and your voting rules and regs and procedures, let's put it that way.
Countywide or
Countywide
statewide?
and statewide. Our 3-3 representation model basically means that every year, if we go to 3 apportioned areas, there will be 3 representatives from each apportioned area. They will each have 3-year terms, and the proposed election cycle will balance out. So if you really look at this, regardless of where you live in the district, every single year, if you want to be a part of the school board, you can run for election to be a part of the school board. So in that way, we're trying to make sure that everyone has equitable access. Nobody has to wait 3 years for an opportunity to run again. So the benefits, again, allow for any resident in an apportioned area to run for office in any election year. We keep the board representation at the current 9-member level. This model offers consistency and it encourages equitable representation and involvement based on our population. Dave?
So we covered this slide a little bit already. This is the current representation model, how it differs from other models that we'll look at. There's 4 apportioned areas in our current representation model, which don't meet the goals of the committee, so which is hence why we're examining other models. So I'll advance to the next slide since we've already seen this one. In no particular order, the committee has come up with 5, I believe, models to present to the public. Just trying to point out that we've looked at the data in a lot of different ways. We've tried to come up with different models that will work in different ways. Some fit, some don't, but Model A maintains the 3-3-3 model approach where there will be 3 apportioned areas. However, this model is not viable because the areas are not contiguous as required by state statute. Option B is a 3 apportioned area model. However, the seats aren't necessarily balanced, so the election cycle wouldn't be somebody from each area could get elected every year. So this is not necessarily a model that is supported by the committee. It does, the apportioned areas are contiguous as required by state statute, but the population for Model B is not balanced. Model C meets the goals, or excuse me, option C meets the goals of the committee, that there are 3 apportioned areas, the population is balanced in the apportioned areas, and the apportioned areas are contiguous. You might notice in this model that King and Harrison intersect at a corner. This does meet the state statute for being contiguous.
King and Nokomis.
King and Nokomis. Touching at the corner, so that it is a contiguous area. Option D, again, this would be more of a 4 apportioned area system or a model. The populations are somewhat balanced, but you can see that King, Harrison, Birch, Scanawan are still considerably smaller than the city in this model. So it's not a true 3-3-3 model, which doesn't allow for a streamlined election cycle, and then the population, of course, is not balanced. However, the apportioned areas are contiguous. And Model E, this is another 4 apportioned area model. Again, areas are contiguous as required by state statutes, but the population in this model is not balanced either. So what we're presenting to the public is the fact that the committee did wrestle with a lot of different scenarios and a lot of different options to try and come up with something that would be that seems to work, and option C certainly seems to meet all of our goals. So next steps for the committee, and apologize that some of these dates are not up to date. This was presented at the January board meeting. But next steps are we continue these meetings. We have another one tonight at 6:30 p.m. Today being Wednesday, March 13th. We will have another one on next Tuesday, 19th at That one's at 5:30. And then the final one will be on next Thursday, the 21st, and that one will be, I think, at 6:30 as well. So we'll incorporate the feedback from our public meetings and make sure that we're taking everything into consideration, and we will propose a final recommendation, an implementation plan for legal review, and then sometime in May or June, we'll present our final recommendations as a committee to the school board for their approval. And then July and August, we will begin to compile a petition for a proposed plan of apportionment and bring that, as Kay mentioned earlier, to the September 2024 annual meeting, where the community will be able to vote up or down for the new model.
So with that information before you, feel free to contact one of the three of us who are on the ad hoc committee as we've been working on this project. Again, my name is Kay Kissinger-Wolf.
Sharp Kirsch.
Dave Long.
That we're available to answer your questions. You can find our contact information on the school website. And that's about it for today.
That's about it.
Thank you for tuning in to the presentation.
Thank you.